All right, everyone, I'm back. I'm Rachel with the Bloomin' Witch, and it is Friday evening and time for some all-level yoga. This evening we are going to be primarily focusing on opening the hips and just getting into that lower sacral chakra area. So if you were tuned into my meditation earlier today, I talked about the energy of Beltane, and May 1st is Beltane, recognized in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's a recognition and honoring of first summer. So we're taking those first steps towards that really vibrant, vital summer energy coming into our space. However, if you're already here, or if you're here in Phoenix, you're already feeling that summer energy. It's quite warm here already. Oh, welcome, Nina. So we're going to be working the energy primarily of the sacral chakra this evening. So a lot of hip work, some circular movement. So if you are feeling particularly tight in the hips and low back, this should be a really beneficial practice for you. Please make sure that you grab your yoga mat, you have some water, any props that you might like to use to assist yourself, and then any music that you might like to have playing in the background to sort of weave through your practice and help just kind of bring some energy into your practice. Looks like from your end, the feed is frozen. Or maybe just from my end, I can't really tell. So if you are new to yoga, a couple things to keep in mind. It is really important that you practice in a way that feels safe and sustainable to you. So if anything feels uncertain, if you've been dealing with any illness, any injury, know that you've got some issues in particular parts of your body, please don't do anything that's going to cause any further harm or injury or create a lot of discomfort. So pain is something we definitely want to avoid. It is quite normal to feel uncomfortable when you're learning something new and learning to inhabit your body in a different way. But again, if it feels unsafe or just doesn't feel wise to be practicing in that way at this time, then just take a step back and let yourself sort of assess where you are. Come into child's pose, come to a seat, lie down, just kind of watch and see what's unfolding and happening for you. So in another moment, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, make sure you have everything you need set up in place. And we're going to start to work on getting those hips open. I don't know why this is freezing up for me. Okay, here we go. And if you know anyone that might benefit from this evening's practice, you can go ahead and invite them over to my page to watch and practice with us. Share this video around. I do offer these online classes for free. They are, free and donation based. So anyone that would like to donate, there is a link at the top of this post from my Bloomin' Witch page. But I offer these classes 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evening at 5:30. And each class is different. So I do a vinyasa flow class on Mondays, a yin practice on Wednesdays, and then the all-level class on Friday evenings. And I will be doing this for as long as I'm still not working. The sound is super quiet. I didn't make any adjustments to it. I'm not really sure why. I can try turning it up. See if that helps at all. I feel like my voice kind of comes and goes too, so I don't know if it's just the mic or if it's me. And I know if you're watching from my watch party, I don't know how they're on there, but suddenly there's captions, which is kind of cool. All right, everyone, so let's go ahead and come over to our mats. And if you'd like to, again, have any props nearby, go ahead and grab those. I usually like to start off by sitting on a pillow. So you're welcome to grab a pillow. You could also, oh, still can't hear. Not really. I didn't change anything from the other day.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. The levels are really low.
When I'm talking, it's, I mean, I can move that up more.
Yeah, move that all the way up. That's one thing to stop.
Sorry guys, give me a sec, just checking out the sound here.
Yeah. How's that gonna make a difference?
Yeah, I don't know what that does. I can move that up more. Oh, I can hear it fine.
Now you can hear it. So that worked.
Okay, I think we're good. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, technology. Okay, so back to our mats. So grabbing, again, any props you need, have some water nearby, have your tunes playing in the background, and we'll start in a seated position or in a position if you're more comfortable lying down on your back, then go ahead and start off in Shavasana. So again, we're working with the energy of Beltane today, so this really creative, sort of fertile and vital energy. So the sacral chakra sits sort of right below the navel. And again, this is sort of calling forth our really just vibrant, creative, sensual energies today. So that's why I decided to work on the energy moving through the hips and the lower back and the pelvic region in particular. So as many of us are spending a lot of time seated at our desk, things get just really stiff and tighten up. So it's good to just get some energy flowing through this area of ourselves. So let's come into a comfortable seat, or again, you're lying down on your back, eyes are closed, and we'll briefly scan the body from head to toes. So you're just dialing in, checking in, noticing where you do feel stiff or tight or tense, and checking in emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. So kind of going through all the different layers. And start to notice your natural flow of breath. And think about or reflect on some ways in which you find you are most easily able to express yourself creatively. What part of yourself feels really vibrant, really in tune with the world around you? And we can, in our minds, call in the energy of Beltane, calling in the nature spirits to help support us along and during and within our practice this evening. One image that you might resonate with is thinking about yourself as a flower, just coming into full vibrance and full bloom. And this is your opportunity to really care for yourself and nurture your body and nourish your soul. And just invoking whatever energies speak to you. So if you have some sort of spiritual practice, if you connect with the energy of the earth, if you connect with different deities, connect with your ancestors, again, whatever resonates for you, just invoking that energy and their space and spirits into your practice. And let's start to move some energy through the body now by wiggling fingers and toes. And beginning to move the head around a bit. You might listen for any little hops and cracks. I know I get a few through my neck, lower back sometimes. So roll the shoulders out. And then a nice big stretch, lifting arms overhead and lengthening from your fingertips down to your toes. Circling out hands, stretching out the fingers. And if you are lying down on your back, let's lift ourselves up towards a comfortable seat. This is where I will typically remove anything that I'm sitting on and place that behind me. So coming into Sukhasana, or easy seat, so a simple cross-leg position. I'll rest my hands on my knees and then slowly begin to circle my upper body around. And changing directions. Inhaling myself all the way back up to an upright position, sending left arm overhead and then reaching that hand over towards the right side of the room. And then a couple of big arm circles here, opening through the shoulder joint. One direction and then the opposite. And my next breath will lift me all the way up. I'll exhale over to the other side. Another couple arm circles. And take it in reverse. And then we inhale, lifting all the way back up. Rolling the head and neck a couple of times. Take it nice and gently. And the head lifts. We'll roll the shoulders out. Take them back a few times. And then forward a few times. Dropping into some seated cat-cow. So I like to either have my hands on my knees or go ahead and grab my shins. So with an inhale, I'll draw my heart forward, lift my chin. And exhale, round my spine and lower chin to chest. Inhale, I open through the heart. And exhale, roll the spine. We'll do a few more rounds. And then lifting straight up, moving towards a twist. So left hand comes to the right knee across my body. Right hand moves behind me, and then I lift up through the crown of my head and turn my chest towards the right. Inhaling, I come back to center. Left hand moves to right knee, right hand moves to left knee, left hand moves behind me, and then I turn my upper body towards the left. I'll come back through center. Start to walk my hands all the way out in front of me, hinging forward at my hips, and then moving my forehead down towards the mat. Breathing myself up towards a seat, Hands then move behind me. I can hug my shoulder blades together, lift up through my chest, lift my chin upwards, and either hold here or perhaps start to roll forward onto my knees and lift my hips up towards the ceiling. And if my hips are elevated, hips lower back towards the floor. I'm rolling forward onto my hands and knees towards tabletop. And gently beginning with some rocking of the hips side to side. And then that side to side motion will turn into circles, hip circles. And then sending the hips in the other direction. Right back to the top of my table here, making sure my hands are lined up underneath my shoulders. My knees are about hip distance apart. Maybe give my feet a couple rounds of rotations here to loosen up through my ankles. And then I might like to tuck my toes under and let a little weight drop towards my heels to give the bottoms of my feet and my toes a good stretch. And I lift my hips back over top of my knees, making sure here that you start to hug in your belly a little bit. So if you have a tendency to sort of dump the belly towards the ground, you'll notice that curve through my lower back. I want to pull some of that curve out. So my belly hugs in. You can see how my lower back flattens out a bit. And then my right leg is going to reach straight back. And I'm gently just rocking forward and back a bit. And then I'll pause, extend my right leg straight back. My leg lifts no higher than my hip really. I'm going to bend my knee here and just pulse up and down a little bit. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now I'm turning that into a big circle as well. So circling the knee around. A few times in one direction and then a few times in the opposite. Sending that right leg straight back, belly in. Exhale, I pull my knee towards my nose. Inhale, my right leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Right knee lowers down towards the mat. If you need to give your wrists a little bit of a break, you can sit back and maybe flip the palms upside down. Stretch out top of the wrists, maybe shake out the hands. And we return to table. This time we'll slide the left foot back and start off with a little gentle rock forward and back. And then I'll pause here, make sure my core is engaged. Lift my left leg up, bend my knee, and then I'm pulsing straight up and down. Small movements for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll take that knee into a few big circles. And then other direction. I'll send that left leg straight back, take a breath in. With my exhale, my knee comes towards my nose. Inhale, left leg straight back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, back. Exhale, knee to nose. Left knee returns to the floor. Let's open up the knees nice and wide. Keep the toes together. Let the hips rest back towards the heels in child's pose. And then you can lower forehead towards the floor. Okay, as you're ready, we're lifting back to tabletop. So let's move knees back in line with the hips. Now you have the option to go through this next little sequence from tabletop, or you have the option to try the sequence from downward dog. So if you'd like to come to downward dog, we'll tuck the toes under, try walking the hands forward, maybe about a handprint or so, so a few inches. And then lift the knees, press the hips back. Make sure the feet are about hip distance apart. And then if you want, you might start to walk it out a little bit. If you're still in tabletop, you can just hang out there for a moment. All right, and then we hold steady. So whether you're in tabletop, so knees are on the mat, or whether you're in downward dog, let's all extend the right leg straight behind us, lifting that leg up. And then we take the right foot, turn the toes out, and then swing that right leg out to the right side of the room. Inhale the right leg back. Exhale, from downward dog, you come to a plank and bring your knee to your nose. If you're in tabletop, you just simply bring knee to nose. And then inhale the right leg back, turn the toes out, swing the right leg out to the right side. Inhale the right leg back, exhale, knee to nose. One more round, inhale right leg back, rotate the toes out, exhale, swing that leg out to the right. Inhale the right leg straight back, exhale, knee to nose. Dropping down to all fours, hips to heels, we rest and pause in child's pose. And then setting up once again, either in downward facing dog or tabletop. So wherever you decide to be, feeling that core activation, let's inhale the left leg up and back, turn the left toes out, exhale, sweep the left leg out to the left side, inhale left leg back, and then exhale left knee to nose. So again, if you're in downward dog, you'll come towards a plank as the knee comes towards the nose. Inhale back, three-legged dog or tabletop. Turn the left toes out. Swing the left leg out to the left. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. One more round. Inhale, left leg back. Turn the toes out. Exhale, out to the left. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. And then we'll come back towards tabletop or downward dog. Make our way into child's pose. And back to all fours. Tuck the toes under, hips back, downward facing dog. And then let's all together walk our feet forward towards our hands. Feet can be a comfortable hip distance apart. Palms come to the shins. We press up about halfway. Feel those shoulders move back away from your ears. Exhale, we lower back down towards our forward fold. And then the next inhale, we stand up tall, reaching arms all the way overhead. And exhale, palms come to heart center. So I'm going to turn on my mat, so I have the length of my mat to step my feet nice and wide. And I'm going to point my toes forward. Some of you might be a little more comfortable rotating the toes slightly out. I'm just going to let you feel into whatever feels better for your knees. So inhaling my arms nice and high, I exhale, forward fold, hands come towards the mat. And if I can't quite reach, I might grab some of my yoga blocks, or I can use books to kind of have makeshift blocks. Shifting my weight towards the right side. So you'll notice the right knee bends as the hips move to the right. And then I shift my hips to the left. My left knee bends. And I'm gently and slowly shifting my weight side to side. So I should feel a nice stretch along the inner thighs. Couple more times for each side. And then I center my hips, allow myself to relax a little bit more deeply into that wide leg forward fold. So you'll notice the top of my head reaches towards the floor. You can shake out the head a little bit here. Pressing hands into the floor, lift yourself halfway up. Start to activate through the belly. Take your hands to your hips and then stand yourself all the way up. So what I'm going to do next is simply take my right foot, and I'm rotating my right foot 90 degrees or 45 degrees. No, 90. Geometry is not my strong suit. 90 degrees. So my right foot is pointing towards front of the room. My left foot or back foot is pointing towards the side of the room. Extending my arms out nice and wide, and then allowing my right knee to bend, making sure my knee doesn't really come past my heel. So if you look at the screen, you'll notice that my knee lines up vertically over top of my heel. It's also fine if the knee is slightly behind the heel. Typically what we'll want to avoid is taking the knee past the heel. So if that's happening, pull those hips back a little bit. Maybe step your feet a little bit wider. So moving into Warrior Two. Turning my gaze down my right arm past my thumb. And let's inhale, lift the arms up, straighten out the front leg. And then exhale, bend the front knee, extend the arms. Now drop your back hand to your back leg. Inhale, lift your right arm up in the air. Exhale, back to Warrior Two. So let's repeat. Inhale, arms up, front leg straight. Exhale, bend the front knee, extend the arms. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Back hand drops to back leg. Exhale, Warrior Two. Repeating one last time. Inhale, arms lift, front leg straight. Exhale, bend the front knee. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, Warrior Two. So now I'm straightening my leg. Hands come to my hips, turning the right foot back to its starting point, and then rotating my left foot 90 degrees. So now my left foot turns to the back of the room. Once my feet are set up and I can look down and see that my front heel lines up with my back heel or the instep of my back foot, I extend my arms, big breath in. Exhale, left knee bends. And then just do a quick little knee check here. Inhale, front leg straight, arms lift. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Right hand drops back, left arm lifts up. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, lift and straighten. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, back to Warrior Two. One more round. Inhale, lift and straighten. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, Warrior Two. And then I'll straighten that front leg, turn my left foot so it parallels my right. Hands come back to my hips. Just roll those shoulders out a couple of times, forward and back. Interlacing hands behind the back, and then I might walk my feet just ever so slightly closer together, hugging shoulder blades all the way back. My knuckles are kind of pulling down towards the ground behind me. Again, I'm making sure my core is stabilized, so the belly is drawing inwards towards the spine. Now, you can either hold here in this option, or if you'd rather, you may come towards a forward fold. Hinging forward at the hips, stretching out those shoulders a bit more. And then I'll stand up tall once again, releasing my hands. Now I'm rotating my heels inward so that my toes point out. I might decide I need to walk my feet out a little further again, because as I come down into my squat, I'm making sure that my knees are not coming past my ankles. So I'm inhaling, arms up. As I exhale, I can take palms together, hands come to heart. I bend my knees as I squat down, and then adjusting my feet so that my knees and toes line up to the best of their ability. Now, when you're in this pose, if you look from a side view, what you want to try to avoid is kind of that tilt back with the tailbone and the belly dumping forward. So if that's happening, pull the belly in and rotate that tailbone straight down. So rather than tucking it in, there's still the natural curve of the lower back, tailbone is down. And then you might even take the hands and bring them to the inner thighs and try to roll those inner thighs back. You're standing up nice and tall, so there's no leaning forward or trying to lean back at all, but the inner thighs roll back. Maybe even lift those toes up off the ground as you sink in. And then if I want to add a nice rotation for my spine here, I can take my hands to the tops of my thighs. I'm allowing my right shoulder to sort of dip down towards the center. I heard a little pop in my lower back. And then I'll switch. Left shoulder drops down towards center. You can feel the stretch through my inner thighs here. And then back to center, still holding my squat. I might feel my thighs getting a little fiery here. Maybe reaching the arms up. And then small pulses up and down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's stand it up. Release the arms. Heel toe the feet together. Shake out the legs a little bit. All right, so returning back to the top of my mat, breathing the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's walk the feet back towards downward dog. Just take a moment here, feel it. And I'll drop my knees down towards the floor. Check on our time here. And then from our tabletop, sending the right leg straight back, and with our exhale, I'm pulling up through my belly so I can kind of kick my foot through. Sometimes I like to use yoga blocks here under the hands. And then you have the option to either keep the right hand outside of the leg. Sometimes I like to bring the hand and arm inside of the leg and walk my foot, my right foot, over to the right a couple of inches. It just leaves a little bit more space to move. And then again, maybe a block under the hands. So my back knee is down on the floor. All I'm doing is shifting my weight back and forward into a rocking lunge. So all of these movements are bringing mobility into our hips, helping to open up the lower back, because it's all connected. So we can't really just work one area without having an impact on another. As I come back into my lunge, I'm holding here and then tucking my back toes under, lifting my back knee, and then taking small hip circles here. So depending on your range of motion, the circles might be really, really small, maybe they're a little bigger. And then taking those hips in reverse. Back towards center, dropping my back knee down. Can move my block out of the way. And then paying close attention to how your knee responds here. So I'm turning my right foot towards the upper right corner of my mat. My right hand is pressing to the top of my thigh or my knee. And then I'm going to sort of lift up. So rather than collapsing into that left shoulder, I'm making some space, pulling the energy upwards, and then adding a twist. And then depending on how my knee and my hip are feeling at the moment, how they respond, I could very carefully allow my leg to open or my knee to open as I roll to the outer edge of my right foot. I want to take it nice and slow, so I give my hip time to respond appropriately, or give me time to respond appropriately to how my hip is responding to the movement. And one more breath. Coming out of my twist, I'll allow my right knee to pull back in towards center. I rotate my foot forward, walk my foot in, drag my right heel back so I can return to tabletop. And then I like to give my left hand a little bit of a shake. So for the other side, inhale the left leg back, and then I'm pulling up to make a little space to step my left foot forward. And I'm once again going to choose to move my left arm inside of my leg. I'll make a little space by moving my left foot out towards the left a couple of inches. And then I'm sliding a block under my hands. You don't have to. And I'm rocking back and forward. And I come back towards my lunge. I'm going to choose to move my block out of the way, but you don't have to. My right hand stays on the ground. My left hand comes to the top of my left knee. I'm turning my toes towards the upper left corner of my mat, lifting up out of the right shoulder, twisting towards the left, and then depending on how my body feels on this side, I might choose to let my left knee drop away or move away from my midline as I roll towards outer edge of my foot. But if this hurts your knee or doesn't feel safe for your hip, then make sure that you take responsibility for your body here and just maybe not take this type of hip opener. And moving my left knee back towards my midline, I'll slide my left foot back, take those knees wide again, and I'm right back in child's pose. And slowly lifting myself upwards. Let's start to bring our legs out in front of us. Beginning with butterfly pose. Soles of the feet come together. My knees are wide, and then depending on where you would like to experience this pose more fully, if you're looking for kind of more of an outer hip opener, I would suggest moving the heels further out away from your body. So if you look in the empty space between the legs, there's a diamond shape. If you want to feel more of an opening and stretch through the inner thighs and through the groin, then you can pull the heels closer in to the body. Generally speaking, I kind of go right in the middle. Sitting tall. And as we exhale, we think about touching our collarbone towards the wall in front of us. Sometimes I'll even use my elbows to gently encourage my knees a little closer to the floor. That'll help to activate and bring sensation into the outer hips as well. But doing so cautiously and carefully. And paying attention to how deeply you are experiencing sensation here. Sometimes it's appropriate for us to lean in and go a little deeper. Other times it's more appropriate to back off. And then sometimes we just hold right where we are. And my next inhale, I take myself back up to a seat, bring my knees together, and then open up my legs nice and wide into a V shape. Kind of walk my hips forward. So for some people in this pose, you might have the preference to flex the feet, which means the toes point directly up. Other people find it's just a better practice for them if they press into the balls of the feet and spread out the toes from there. So I've heard from different yoga students, based on whatever issues they might have in the body, such as sciatica or something like that, different kind of feet variations will impact their response a little differently. So again, you do what is right and healthiest for your body. If you aren't sure, try both and then see which one feels better. So we're sitting tall. I can already feel a pretty good stretch through my inner thighs here, into my hips, a little bit of energy in my lower back as well. But I know my body and I can come forward a little bit without causing too much strain here. So I'm hinging forward at my hips. And then I might like to adjust my feet. I'll take one more breath. And again, I'm slowly coming out of my pose. I never want to move too quickly into or out of a pose. And then my feet drag in one at a time. Now, my body is comfortable going immediately into a yoga squat from here. So my hands come to the floor so I can support myself as I shift my weight forward, and then I can adjust my feet, the distance between my feet and the position they're pointed, depending on what I need. So ideally, however, our knees are lined up over our toes. So for instance, I wouldn't necessarily want to focus on turning my toes out and then collapsing my knees in. I do want to make sure they're kind of heading in the same direction. Now, if this pose is maybe not so ideal for you, or you need a little support, you could try sitting on a yoga block, walk the feet out a bit. And then another alternative, which will give you the same opening through the hips, would be to come down onto your back into happy baby. So elbows are inside the knees. We can grab the feet, maybe the shins, keep the knees bent, and then open up the feet wider. So you can feel the knees pull down towards the floor, and then simultaneously you're sort of kicking and pressing up through the soles of the feet. So again, this is one of two options. I'm going to come back into the first option. One's not necessarily better than the other, they're just different and will provide different types of support for different people. And then I'm just working on lifting up through the crown of my head here. Sometimes I like to sort of shake and wiggle around just to help open things up a little bit more. And just take 1 or 2 more breaths. And if you are on your back, feel free to hug your knees into your chest. If you are in Malasana or yoga squat, you might drop your hands back, come to a seat, and then extend your legs out in front of you. Give them a little bounce, circle the feet around. Again, if you're on your back, feel free to stay there. For those of you who are seated, go ahead and lie down on your back. We'll place soles of the feet down on the ground. Place our arms down by our sides. So the hands are close to the hips, heels are close into the body, and my feet are about hip distance apart. And we'll finish, well, not completely. We're gonna start to finish up, coming into a moving bridge pose. So if you press down through the feet, let's inhale and lift the hips. And then exhale and lower the hips. And inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Inhale, lift. We're holding here, but do breathe through it so you're not holding the breath. And then you can try either taking some small hip circles or maybe just swinging the hips a little side to side. I like the hip circles. And then other direction. And then back to center. 1 more big breath in. Exhale, hips lower down. Open your arms out wide. And let's drop both knees over to the right. Our knees are stacked. So sometimes I like to wrap one leg around the other. So you can play with any variation you like here. And my next inhale lifts my knees, and my exhale will drop them down over to the other side. And breathing in, my hips lift. Exhale, I'm going to take my knees into my chest 1 more time. You might like to do the same. You might like to try something different. And preparing for my final resting pose. So you can extend your legs out onto the mat in front of you, arms by your sides. However, if you'd like to come into seated meditation, you are welcome there as well. And if you are taking the seated meditation option, you might like to sit up on a pillow. And let's once again just come into a momentary body scan from head to toes. Just relaxing, releasing, and surrendering. And just start to Once again, call in the fertile energy of this new season, that creative and vital life force that pulses through us. As you feel ready, go ahead and start to wiggle fingers and toes. And maybe invite a longer, deeper breath into your body. And if you are lying down, feel free to roll to your side. Draw your knees into your chest. If you are seated, maybe roll the shoulders out a little bit or the head a bit. And then go ahead and come to a seat, placing palms together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra to seal your practice. Just once again invoking the nature spirits and all the beings and guidance to support you along your path. And bow your head to your heart in gratitude for taking the time to show up on your mat today. May we all know love. May we all know peace. May we all know kindness. And may these things always flow to and from us. Namaste. So thank you all for participating today for our all-level class. I will be back on Monday at noon for another midday meditation, and 5:30 for Vinyasa Yoga. So make sure to check in with me. And anyone that would like to donate towards today's practice, there is a link on the Bloom and Witch page at the top of the post. And I hope you guys have a really wonderful weekend. Get your practice in, make sure you're moving your body, check in, let me know how you're doing. And if there are any requests that you have for practice, I'm certainly open to hearing those. So send me a message, shoot me a comment, whatever it is you'd like to do. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.